If you're here,
That's right. I'm talking to you.
you're wondering why the patients showing up to your practice are the price shopping insurance patients instead of the high value cases who actually value your expertise. If that sounds like you, you're in the right place. So, here's what most dentists do to try and fix that: they throw more money at ads, they hire another agency, or they post more on social media. And 6 months later, they're frustrated because they're still stuck on the same hamster wheel, only now they're running faster. And this problem happens for multiple reasons. But no, the problem probably isn't that you're not marketing hard enough. The problem is more likely related to the fact that pretty much everything you're doing is reinforcing the wrong classification of your practice. So today, I'm going to show you the 10 levers that actually shift how you're positioned in your market, so you attract comprehensive care patients instead of price shoppers without spending a dollar more on advertising. Although, you may want to change some of your messaging around there too. We have a bit to go through first, but by the end, I promise you'll know exactly what affects your positioning and have some strategies to fix any problems that exist for your practice. So, before I get into the system, it's important you understand why we work specifically with dentists, because it's not random and I promise this is relevant. Right now, there is a massive shift happening in local search. Google is getting better and better at understanding what kind of business you are. Not just that you're a dentist, but what kind of patients you work with, or at least what it thinks based on everything you're telling it. But it's not just that Google understands your business better, Google also has been changing its algorithm for years, tightening the proximity radius of the map results, and finally, on November 3rd, 2025, something snapped. The era of hyperlocalization has officially begun.
Come aboard, explorers!
And if those two factors weren't enough, Google's AI mode just got a massive overhaul in December 2025 and is now integrating with Maps more closely so that businesses can show up with their Google business profile in AI responses. All of these trends have positioned dentists perfectly to capitalize if they understand how to play the game. Think about it. You have high value services that justify premium positioning. You serve a defined and relatively constrained geographic area, and your patients are more likely to research exhaustively before choosing. The gap between what an insurance dependent practice makes versus a fee for service comprehensive care practice is enormous. We're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars just by shifting your positioning and the way Google and your patients see you. Here's what we're already seeing, because inertia plays a huge role in this. The practices that figure out positioning right now are going to dominate their market for years. The ones that don't are going to keep fighting over the same shrinking pool of insurance patients while margins get squeezed tighter and tighter. And to be perfectly honest with you, I know this from personal mistakes I've made. Before starting Opkie, we owned a small group of clinics. We spent well over $1 million on marketing, and the clinics failed anyways. It's not because marketing didn't generate leads, it did, but it's because we were attracting the wrong patients. We were positioned as a commodity, so we got commodity patients who chewed through our time, our energy, and our margins. The principles that caused those practices to fail back then have only been amplified, and now you have the opportunity to learn from our mistakes. Because that experience is exactly why we built the system I'm about to show you. It's what I wish someone had shown me before I made just about every mistake in the marketing book. So here's what's actually happening with your practice right now. Every signal you send, your website, your Google business profile, your social media, your reviews, is telling both Google and potential patients how to categorize you. If you're not getting the kind of patients you want, it's because you're training algorithms to show you to price driven patients in price driven searches. You end up attracting patients who value convenience and cost over quality and outcomes. This isn't a marketing problem, it's a classification problem. And here's the expensive part: the patients you actually want, the ones searching for dental implants, full mouth reconstruction, comprehensive care, they're out there. The average clinic has around $2 million spent annually on dental care within a 10-minute driving radius. If Google isn't sending you your fair share, then Google is sending them to your competitors. Not because those dentists are more skilled than you, they're just classified differently and perceived differently by those patients. You're invisible to the right patients and highly visible to the wrong ones. That's what causes this hamster wheel effect. The local leverage system fixes this through 10 strategic levers. Now, these aren't random tactics. They're not tips and tricks. Each lever is designed to shift one specific aspect of how you're positioned, and when you move them all together, they compound. Each lever works independently of one another, but when they're all working in concert, you get more of a geometric growth as opposed to linear. 1 plus 1 equals 3 kind of thing. Because we're not trying to hide anything, let me walk you through all 10 levers so you understand exactly what goes into transforming a practice from commodity to authority. We'll start with lever 1. This is deep market intelligence. It's the foundation everything else is built upon. Before we change a single word on your website or do anything else with your practice, we do deep research into your specific market. Where do high-value patients actually live? What are they searching for? What language resonates with them? Where are your competitors weak? This isn't generic dental marketing advice. It's a strategic blueprint based on data about your market. Every practice we work with gets different recommendations because every market is different. The principles are the same, but the outputs are unique. Kind of like how a sedan, a minivan, and a truck all have the same basic parts: engine, transmission, brakes, etc. But they all have very specific use cases based on how those parts are put together. This is probably our biggest differentiator. Most agencies sell you the same playbook they sell everyone else. We build yours from scratch based on what the data tells us. Levers 2 through 4 are your digital levers. They help your practice develop a strong online presence and authority. Lever 2 is all about website transformation. Your website isn't just talking to patients, it's talking to Google. And right now, it's probably telling Google to send you the wrong people. We completely overhaul your site's strategic content. We remove the commodity language and replace it with authority positioning that signals expertise and comprehensive care. The goal is a website that works on 2 levels. 1, telling Google to show you to high-value searches, and then 2, converting those visitors when they arrive. Lever 3 shifts focus to optimizing your Google business profile. This is the first impression most patients have of you, and it's being evaluated constantly by Google's algorithm. After the major algorithm updates in 2025, what used to work is now actively hurting practices. We optimize every element of your profile for both the algorithm and the human prospects. Your description, categories, and your services, your photos, and your posts. AI mode now features cards for business profiles in the results that show information about your practice and your patient reviews summarized based on what you say about yourself and what your patients are saying about you. You can see on this one the importance of context in those reviews. This card is basically an endorsement that even though this dentist is a little more expensive, they're worth it. The high value patients looking for exactly that, high quality service regardless of price, are definitely going to be looking at this dentist. And judging on the fact that you're still here, those are the kind of patients you want. So when someone searches for comprehensive dental care in your area, you need to show up. And when those kinds of patients see you, they need to immediately understand what makes you different and why they should select you. Lever 4 is your social media positioning. This isn't about going viral. It's just about consistency. Your ideal patients don't just search on Google once and then book. They check your Facebook. They look at your Instagram. At every touch point, they're forming impressions of your practice. Even Google has started looking at your social profiles for further validation and information about your practice. We create a social strategy that reinforces your authority positioning across platforms. Educational content, behind the scenes, case outcomes, all aligned with who you're trying to attract. Levers 5 through 7 are your community levers. These boost local signals and make your practice into the local go-to for the kind of patients you're targeting. Lever 5 is your local marketing channels. High-value patients make decisions differently than price shoppers. They want to feel connected to their providers. We identify the specific local channels where your ideal patients already pay attention. Neighborhood newsletters, community magazines, even potentially local billboards in key locations, and help you show up consistently in those spaces. Digital marketing gets attention. Local community presence builds the trust that converts attention into action. Lever 6 is business networks. The highest quality referrals come from trusted professionals whose judgment patients respect. We help you systematically build relationships with the specific professionals who serve your ideal patient demographic. Medical specialists, financial advisors, wellness practitioners, or even plumbers or landscapers, depending on your market. When someone who already has a working relationship with a person refers that patient to you, they arrive with built in trust and much less price sensitivity. People choose to do business with those they know, like, and trust. If they can get a recommendation from another professional to check out your practice, the elements of know, like, and trust are already built in. Level 7 revolves around community engagement. Patients deeply involved in their kids' schools and sports programs talk to each other constantly. They ask for recommendations. They notice who shows up. We help you identify and sponsor the specific organizations or activities where your ideal patient families are already engaged. So you become the known entity, not just another name in a search result. This extends to community outreach events like workshops, demos, etc., where you have the opportunity to continue to demonstrate your expertise. Finally, levers 8 through 10 focus on your internal systems, how you retain and maximize the value of existing patients. Not in some cringy way, but in ways that feel natural and actually add value to your patients. Lever 8 is about patient retention systems. Acquiring new patients is expensive. Losing an existing one, especially a high value one, is devastating. We implement systematic retention strategies that work automatically. Strategic recall communications, patient education programs and content, experience consistency protocols. The goal is maximizing lifetime value by keeping ideal patients engaged and loyal. Lever 9 is developing your patient value optimization. Most practices leave significant revenue on the table, not from seeing too few patients, but from patients declining comprehensive treatment. This isn't about upselling, it's about better education. We implement systems that help patients actually understand the full scope of their oral health needs so they can make genuinely informed decisions. Higher case acceptance is the natural result of better communication. And last but not least is lever 10, patient engagement and advocacy. Without strategic systems, even happy patients produce random results. They might leave a review or they might not. Their review might be helpful or it might not. They might refer friends or they might forget. We make advocacy systematic. Strategic review generation that captures positioning aligned testimonials. And referral systems that encourage your ideal patients to refer patients that are similar. Each ideal patient generates more ideal patients through reviews and referrals, creating compounding growth that requires no additional ad spend. So there's the 10 levers. And while these levers do work in isolation, really, we've seen this system be more successful when they work in tandem. These levers are an integrated system where each element amplifies the others. Understanding your market makes your website more effective. Your website makes your Google business profile more effective. Your reviews reinforce your positioning. Your positioning attracts better patients. Better patients leave better reviews. It's not linear improvement. It ends up being geometric. So, does this actually work? Well, as the kids say, here's our receipts. We started working with a single location general practice in October 2025 before any of the Google algorithm changes came out that have actually amplified the system. They were stuck on the insurance hamster wheel. When they onboarded with us, they committed fully to the system and implemented all 10 levers without any half measures. Between the beginning of October when we started working with them and the beginning of January, that's 3 months, they generated an additional $127,000 in revenue. They dropped their worst paying insurance companies and replaced those patients with premium fee-for-service patients. It's the same location, the same doctor, the same team, but different positioning, and now less patients, but more money. Now, I'll be direct with you. This result isn't necessarily typical because a lot of dentists aren't willing to fully commit. They waffle on certain levers, they want results without the work, but this is what's possible when you actually implement the system. At this point, you might be thinking, can't I just do this myself? And of course, there's nothing truly magic about what we do other than our experience allows us to be more efficient. The market research does require tools and expertise most practices don't have, but you live in your market, so it's probably possible for you to get there yourself. The other pieces take time and understanding as well, but with enough dedication, it's certainly possible to do it yourself. I mean, look at us. We definitely couldn't do it all while running our practices, but after we moved on and started Opkie, we figured it out and we've helped other practices avoid our same mistakes. I will say, however, if I was a betting man, you're here because you don't have time to do all that yourself. It takes foundational understanding and that market research, and without that foundation, you're left guessing, which is how you ended up in the commodity trap in the first place. The other alternative is hiring an agency. There is nothing wrong with marketing agencies. We love paid ads, and that may even be how you found us. The problem with that is that most agencies just want to run ads. And here's what we found: running ads with the wrong positioning actually makes your problem worse. It just cements your classification as a commodity faster. So we don't run ads, at least not in our initial engagement. You don't need another subscription you'll probably forget about right now. That's exactly why this is a 90-day program with no ongoing fees. We can run ads, and we recommend running ads down the line once your positioning is right, if that makes sense for your practice. You might be full without them just by implementing these 10 levers. But ads aren't the problem right now. Classification is the problem. And until you fix that, more marketing, more ad spend just means more of the wrong patients. Our system isn't a plug and play ad campaign by design. It's a custom strategy built specifically for your practice and your market. So here's where we go from here. If you want to see how the local leverage system would work for your specific practice, which levers would have the biggest impact in your market, what the timeline would look like, or what kind of results you could realistically expect, I'd invite you to book a free strategy call. Worst case scenario, you walk away with some concrete ideas about how to improve your positioning and attract more premium patients. Best case scenario, we figure out a way to work together and get you off the insurance hamster wheel for good. The link to schedule that call is in the description below. If you're not quite ready for the call, we've also put together a 5-part email course that goes deeper on each of these levers. It gives practical advice you can start implementing right away. If you found us through Facebook or Instagram ads, you'll get that automatically, but if you're finding us here for the first time, the link for that is in the description as well. Either way, thanks for watching. I hope this gave you a clear picture on what it actually takes to transform a practice from a commodity provider to an authoritative, comprehensive care dentist. Look forward to talking to you soon.